a member of the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. He joins us from Perth, Australia. Peter, thank you so much. I understand, though, you weren't one of the authors of this latest report, but you have seen it. What do you make of it?
Yeah, look, it's the synthesis report, and I was involved in the main mitigation report, so I know what went into it, and the core messages are synthesised into it. It is a very important document because it is enabling us to see that we've got to get going, that climate threat is happening, where there's billions of dollars a day being lost through all these things that we can see on your screen. They are increasing and getting more and more intense in their impact. So we must act. There's no question about that. But the thing that was missing from the press on this, that was delivered by the UN rather than in our report, is that there's a lot happening. It is so much more interesting now to see the options that are available to us. And so many of them are very cheap and very much on the agenda, because this is how you get your funding now. This is enormously different to be able to say, we got $88 trillion for net zero, let's get on with it.
Peter, there is an issue about financing that researchers have discovered, even to the surprise of the people who provide the funding. Let's say they're bankers. There is something in the system of international finance that makes it more difficult to borrow money or to finance projects that run on renewable energies. And when the researchers showed the results to the bankers themselves said, we didn't realize that this was entrenched in the financial system. The reason for it being more expensive is because it's classified as a new form of energy. Therefore, there's a little bit of financial kind of a gamble that the bankers are thinking is happening with renewables rather than what we already know of fossil fuels. So the issue of financing is affected in ways that even those that provide the finance for green energy don't know.
Yeah, look, they're always risk averse. That's their job. And, we wouldn't want them to be too different to that. But clearly, they need to see that this is no longer risky. This is the best technology that we've ever seen. It is cheap. It works. It is rolling out in our cities across Australia, across the world, in ways that we couldn't have predicted even a few years ago. It is so effective, and the banks have got to catch up if that's their problem. But the problem in the developing world is that risk is seen to be bigger, and therefore their interest rates are higher. So that's where the developed world must step in and provide this $100 billion climate fund that can help the developing world get into that finance. The 88 trillion should be easily available to them as well, and then we can all progress together. That's the step that is still missing.
Do you think it's a realistic target when the United Nations calls for the speeding up of the transition and that it actually should be reduced by 10 years? Is that realistic?
It is realistic because of the dramatic way in which the technology is happening. And some of the futurists are now saying that we will have 95% of the world's market for electric vehicles will be electric vehicles by 2030. These are the kind of dramatic things that begin to happen once you get into exponential growth for solar, batteries and electric vehicles. They are better. They just need to be adopted, and it just accelerates. So I'm not saying it can't be done. These things can change very rapidly, and we just need to get on with it, because this is the way you get your finance now. Get on with it.
Peter, thank you. It's always enlightening to hear from you. Peter Newman in Australia.